Hello everyone and welcome to this presentation by Rosemary, Rochelle and Ginny. Today we'll be taking you through the CASLT website, which is the Canadian Association for Second Language Teachers. To begin, our group would like to share with you an overview of our presentation. Today we'll be describing the most appropriate audience and context for the CASLT website. We'll be giving you an overview over here of the content of the website. We'll be taking you through the approaches of second language teacher education that are reflected in this resource. We'll be describing two activities, one for FSL, French as a second language, and a second for ESL, English as a second language. And finally, we'll be sharing our commentary on the value and quality of this resource for second language teacher education. The Canadian Association of Second Language Teachers has a website which provides the following. It, one, supports second language teachers in Canada with program support materials, and this includes teachers of French, English, and other languages taught in Canada. Two, it awards teacher research grant, teacher bursaries for graduate studies, and other awards in the field of second language education. Three, on this site, you have access to special interest groups and focus groups, all focused on second language teaching and learning. Four, the site acts as a forum to share information on second language training and education opportunities, including workshops and conferences such as the CASLT conference. Five, the site provides resources for teachers of English, French, and other languages. So this may include lesson plans and classroom activities. Six, the site has information on research projects that CASLT sponsors. And finally, the site maintains an online research database. Okay, on this slide here, I'd just like to share with you a layout of what the actual CASLT website looks like. When you type in the CASLT address, caslt.org, you'll come across this page over here. The site is easily organized. There's a list of blue tabs on top and brown tabs on the bottom. The blue tabs are mostly concerned with the organization of the website, whereas the brown tabs are content specific, so they're divided into research database and lesson plans. In the center of the website as well, you'll see the CASLT calendar, which lists upcoming events, workshops, training opportunities connected to second language education.
The intended audience for the website includes second language teachers, teacher candidates of second languages, university and college professors and researchers, graduate students in second language education programs, second language program coordinators.
Okay, let us refer first off to the image on the side. The fish, as you can imagine, is interpreted differently by the baby, who loves the new friend, and the cat, who wishes to have sushi for lunch. The CASLT website can be then interpreted differently by the teacher and the researcher. For the purposes of this assignment, we shall refer to Dr. Photong Sunan's work regarding the approaches to SL teaching. Who are you? Are you a researcher? Are you an SL teacher? Are you the student? For simplicity's sake, I shall only discuss on this slide the subsection, the parallels between the humanistic approach and the applied science approach. In a given link on the website, such as Literacy in L2, a given PDF link may be following the applied science approach, as the resource may be generated by a renowned researcher. However, in the same exercise, the individual teacher is encouraged to implement the resource and manipulate it to their needs, thus following the humanistic approach. Here are some more examples to the person-centered approach. We see this approach, for example, in the special interest groups section. And to give you an idea of that section, it provides listserv options for varying interest groups, such as teachers of intensive French and Spanish, to name a few. There's the advocacy section, benefits of becoming a member, so they provide you online self-paced tutorials, free publications. In short, just those examples provide a humanistic approach. The teacher is learning to develop his or herself, as well as learning and bouncing ideas off of other people with these sections. So this website as well shows the knowledge-centered approach, in essence more of the science, more of the empirical research. It's a mix. And to give you some examples, as evident on the website, we see more of the theory found in the speaker bureau, the What We Do section, PD and events as examples, a lot of symposia to name a few, program support services, obviously somebody, academic, is providing that information to the general public, and of course the research database, which we will discuss further later on. Going back to our article read in class by Dr. Fotong Sunan, knowledge is constructed scientifically, and it is objective and capable of being discovered empirically, and that's on page 3.
I was inspired by the activities of the CASLT website and decided to implement this particular activity in one of my grade 9 academic core French classes. The title of this activity is Heureusement, Malheureusement. It was listed as being appropriate for grade 9 to 12 core French, extended French, and French immersion. It is a reading and writing based activity. The materials required were copies of the story, pens and paper, and it required a total of 1 class period. So the steps of the activity. Working in pairs, students read the story Heureusement, Malheureusement, which means happily and unhappily. The story is essentially a dialogue between two characters. A male character named Jean Casse-tout, which means John who breaks everything, and a female character named Jeannette Curieuse, which means Jeannette the curious one. Each line of the story alternates, beginning with the word heureusement or malheureusement. Students then choose an ending from the 3 provided options and use this to create their own story about Jeannette Curieuse, following the same model of alternating actions with heureusement and malheureusement. For anyone interested, this is a copy of the actual story of Jean et Jeannette, malheureusement, heureusement. This was taken directly from the CASLT website and used in my own classroom. On this slide, you'll find the 3 possible endings of the heureusement, malheureusement, which are meant to help students launch and create their own story. To prepare students for the malheureusement, heureusement activity, I actually created my own YouTube video. So I created a video with images that followed the story being told so that students had both a visual of what was happening as well as a script of the story in front of them. This is the video I created to prepare my students for the heureusement, malheureusement activity. Right now I'm going to give you a 10 to 15 second sample of the video. I will post the video on our Pepper website as well so that you have access to it. After listening to and viewing the story heureusement, malheureusement, and after practicing it in pairs, my students then created their own imagined stories. I'm going to share with you a 10-second clip of one of my students' projects. Here is a sample of my students' work.
Due to the high immigration and globalization trend, Canadian schools and classrooms are ever-changing. Even in French immersion programs, students are not only learning French as a second language, but are sometimes also acquiring the basic commands of English at the same time. So the ESL activity we chose from the website is the Animal Food Chain Project. It could be adapted to your own individual classroom needs depending on the time constraint. The activity is aimed for grade levels 4 to 6, but I have used it with my own grade 2 class. The activity will integrate language arts, visual arts, and science. So the required materials are you will need a computer, the internet, a mind map software, a word processor, a shoebox, and modeling clay. So the required time is they estimate about 18 hours, but as mentioned before, you could adapt it to your own needs. So for the preparation of this activity, we can start as a class discussion. The students can brainstorm as a whole class, or it could also be done as a think, pair, share activity. The driving questions could be what animals live in Canada, what animals live in the East, what animals live in the West, North, and in the prairies. What do these animals eat, and what animals eat them? The procedure. So for this research, the students will be using the internet to learn about the animal food chains. They will be using a mapping software to organize their research. And another tool that they could use as well is the inspiration to make a food web. At the end of this project, the product that we will have, students will be creating a food web of animals found in Canada, and their web will be labeled with appropriate vocab. They will create an animal diorama using a shoebox, and you will see some examples of my students' work on the next slide. And after that, they will present their project to the class. Here are some examples of my students' work when they created the shoebox diorama. Some adaptations and extensions you could use for the project. So to accommodate some students, you could provide labeled pictures of animals to the ESL, to English language learners. You could also have the students watch the video or listen to audio for their research as opposed to researching on the internet. Extensions could be having students write a few sentences describing a food web and how their selected animals fit into the web, or have the students record their food web explanation onto the computer or a tape recorder. This is the rubric that I used for the project, and it was I got it from the CASLT website, and if you want a copy, you can always go to the link listed on the slide.
So on these slides, we'll be discussing our commentary and the value and quality of this resource for the teacher on this slide. So positives, let's start with the positives. For example, the research tools are concise to the specific inquiry of the educator. There's a mix of theory and practice on this site. There's also a mix of individual and collaborative learning. And we all love those downloadable lesson plans and activities in multiple languages. And just to show you on this picture here, the words that are in the search engine are all teacher related. So that really just shows you how the website is teacher friendly. Still referring to the teacher on this slide, we're going to actually present some of the setbacks. So money, 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 it's a rich man's world from ABBA. Unfortunately, that screams the case here. Okay, so if you go right, I just captured from the website the costs to be a membership. So take a look at the prices. It could be expensive depending on the situation. Also, it's overwhelming. I had to print the site map to just really get a grasp of all of the services. Certain activities are only available to members, so a little bit of an exclusion factor there. More tailored to French and English teachers, even though, as you know, there are different languages on this website, it still really feels English and French, majority at least. And there's an overload of curriculum document links. Now, those are great, but in terms of marketing, we could have easily gotten those documents from the Ministry of Education. I really was anticipating to see more activities in the different languages. And of course, the activities, there are very few that are free. Okay, so for now, for the researcher's perspective, we'll start with the positives. It's user-friendly research navigation. If you can take a look on the bibliography database photo here of what I screen captured. There are a variety of data forms, audio, video clips, etc. In essence, it serves as a great beginning for research. However, some of those submissions are not directly available online, and some of those publications are a little bit older. We thank you very much for participating in this presentation. Please take a look to complete our online survey for feedback. And finally, here's a list of our resources that we have compiled. And thank you very much for your participation and attention.